Good morning. It's time now for a special edition of WBRT's information shows that occur on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, all times. I'll pull my information that was sent to us weeks ago, and when I learned that a longtime friend, Missy Roller, is taking the position with Flaget Memorial Hospital's Green Dot Violence Prevention Program, and so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were very much involved with Junior Beta years ago with your
and high school. Thomas Nelson. I was the Thomas Nelson Beta sponsor for probably, I guess, 4 years.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit first about where the kids are.
Where the kids are. Where my kids are? Yeah. Oh, gosh, they're grown.
I know. That's how
they have outgrown Beta. So I have my oldest son is 24. He recently married last year.
Okay.
So my middle child, Brooklyn, she just got her first adult job. She's now employed by the national headquarters Dream Factory chapter. So she grants dreams for children all across the United States that suffer from critical and chronic illnesses. And then my youngest son is a sophomore at UK. So.
Okay. So I remember when I think the two oldest ones went through the Junior Beta program.
All three did, actually. All three were state officers, and then Brooklyn was national officer.
National officer, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how long ago your kids are.
Long time.
Like mine, they're not. So let's talk. Turn that off. Let's talk about the Green Dot program. Refresh our memory about what the program is all about.
So the Green Dot program is a violence prevention program that really focuses on bystander intervention. So we don't talk much about the victim or the perpetrator, but what you can do as a bystander. Okay. So we give students strategies on how to intervene when they see acts of violence. We talk about the metaphor green dot. Green dot stands for good behavior, and red dots obviously stand for the bad behavior, bullying, sexual assault, inappropriate touching, cyberbullying, racism, anything that students encounter throughout their day that's bad behavior. Symbols is a red dot, and we talk about how you can prevent red dots.
So most people, when they think of violence, they think of a physical violence. There's so much more.
It's
and more prevalent and just, I hate to say just as bad, but in many cases just as bad, in some cases worse.
Oh, yes. We talk about negative group chats. We talk about negative posts on social media, inappropriate pictures being shared. All of those are acts of violence, right, to some degree. And what Flaget really invests, my position and this program is funded by our Missions and Ministry Fund that Flaget has through their nonprofit organization. And so we're very fortunate to have a local community hospital that invests in not only physical health, taking care of our patients when they are sick, but health as far as in the community that promotes safe and health within the community. And preventing violence is one of those measures that we take very serious on promoting health, a healthy community.
You've been in this position for just over a month, but not much over a month.
I started in August.
Okay. Well, the press release was about a month later coming out. So, so where are you right now? Is the program now available to go out into the community and speak to organizations? And then, of course, you have so much internally to do with the schools, I'm sure.
Yes. So our primary focus is high schools. We serve Bardstown High School, Thomas Nelson High School, Nelson County High School, and Bethlehem High School, leading Green Dot bystander intervention trainings. I also lead club days, which I had one this morning at Nelson County High School, as well as Thomas Nelson. They also have a Green Dot club. And Bardstown, I hosted my first training with their seniors a couple of weeks ago, and they are super excited about getting a Green Dot Club going, just so that we can keep students, once they've had the training, keep them engaged, keep the language familiar so that they're comfortable, and ultimately the goal is that they influence their peers.
Yeah. Was it the entire senior class at Bardstown?
No, so Green Dot focuses on peer leaders.
Okay.
So we target students that are the most influential in their peer group. So it's not necessarily the most popular kids that take the training, but it's students that we feel, the teachers feel, administrators feel, that are the most influential. So because we can get their buy-in,
Right.
they influence their peer groups and implement the strategies that we teach, because ultimately the goal is that we teach students, to lead by example. Violence is not okay and it's not going to be tolerated. And if enough kids give their peers that awareness that what you're doing, I'm not going to tolerate the bad behavior, the bullying, the sexual assault, the power-based violence, that's a huge thing in teenagers today. I'm not going to tolerate it. And so if you've got enough students that give that persona that violence is not okay, it's not going to be tolerated, it doesn't give room for the bad behavior to take place.
You used a term, power-based violence?
Yes. So, I usually, when I do my trainings, I will go and just stand over a student and just use my size and authority and demeaning, It's just a lot of kids try to react.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With power-based violence, dating situations, for example, a boy and a girl, he may who are you texting? You need to put your phone down. Or you can't go spend time with your girlfriends tonight. You're going to spend time with me. It's just using that power, that sense of authority to control, manipulate relationships. Okay. And that's not only true with just boyfriend-girlfriend situations. There's many peer groups that have always that one person in the peer group that kind of dominates and feels like they have control over the group. So we address issues like that too.
Okay. And somebody has to stand up to them, and that's...
Yes. And we talk about so in the Green Dot, we talk about the 3 Ds: direct, delegate, and distract. So if you're in a situation, we give you strategies based on your comfort level. A lot of us aren't comfortable going straight up to somebody and saying, hey, that's inappropriate, knock it off, right. That's rude, but you can delegate it to someone that might have more of an influence on the person that's exemplifying the bad behavior. Or if it's in a situation where you're in a parking lot and you see a fight break out, maybe honk your horn or just do something to distract the situation. So we talk extensively about ways that you're comfortable intervening in situations. That's the first part of the training. Well, the first part of the training is identifying red dots, bad behaviors. Yeah. And then identifying your reactive green dots, what you're going to do if you see a situation taking place. And then we talk about the proactive green dots, and that's what can you do every day that's realistic for you and your personality that will let others know that violence is not okay and it's not going to be tolerated. And once everyone can identify and actually put into practice at least one green dot, the goal is cultural change.
In I call it the animal kingdom, there's a hierarchy, and whatever the leader, however they get to become the leader, they follow the pack, and it's what you're trying to do is to make that hierarchy and the leader and to be the green dot pack and not the red dot pack.
And what's beautiful about the training is you get many different groups together. The maximum number of students that I can train at a time is 25. And they're coming from different groups, so they don't have their peers there. Mm-hmm. But what's beautiful is once you get into the conversations and the walls come down for the students and they start sharing, they learn that they're not alone in wanting to stand up to do what's right. And it doesn't take long for them to see, well, if I just have the courage to stand up, more will join me. And that's just beautiful to watch them realize.
And they develop probably, hopefully, long-term relationships with these people that, as you said, they may not have run with them, if you want to call it that way, and they find out, well, they're like me, and there's the good in them, and so there's that association. So we have organizations at Bardstown already formed?
Yes.
And then Nelson and Thomas Nelson are at what stage?
So we have already had our first bystander training in Bardstown. I just planned this morning with the Frisk Center at Nelson County High School the next 4 bystander trainings for Nelson County High School. We've had 1 bystander training for Thomas Nelson with 1 scheduled in 2 weeks. So we're up and going. Club days are up and going. This morning we had 24. Generally we have about 50 kids at Club Day for Nelson County High School, but it was operation preparation, so the sophomore class did not get to join us this morning, but the turnout is great. The kids just seem energized and excited, and we make the training fun because I want them to take away something from the training that they will actually use, and so we try to make it fun and engaging. And we don't talk a lot about statistics because while statistics are important, what's happening in our school is more important and brings it really to life. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we having these conversations that we're having? Because we want to change the culture that's in this building. We want to focus on what we can do to make an impact today in our surrounding.
Is there anything, or what can the community do to help? Is there any outside program to reach out to them, or just to be supportive and
be
and know what it
supportive
is?
when we have community events. Show up. We haven't planned a community event. However, Bardstown senior class, they want to have a community event.
Okay.
So we will be planning something soon, but I would just say show up. We would definitely take snack donations if there's a business that would love to donate some snacks. We love on these kids at the trainings. We feed them. So if they wanted to participate and show some support that way, we would definitely take some snack donations. But the long-term goal is to be a green dot community. So what we're trying to implement in our high schools, we eventually want to branch out and implement in businesses and maybe have some onboarding, new hire trainings for workplace harassment. But just being a green dot community is the long-term goal. But we've got to start with our high schools, and in the spring we will be implementing a program called Squabbles in our elementary school. Okay. Yes, and it's going to be so cute. I cannot wait to get that started.
In the elementary?
In the elementary schools.
Somebody might say that's too young, but
it's not because, and we're not really talking about violence as much in Squabbles. It will be teaching students, young kids, how to handle their emotions. If they are frustrated or angry, like, what do you do with that emotion that's healthy? And so that's really the foundation for how you handle violence when you get older. So Squabbles, yes. That's the elementary program that that CHI Flaget is going to support us in implementing in our local schools. So.
Okay. For a green dot community, who makes that check mark? Who makes that designation? What does it take to make that designation?
What do you mean?
The community to do to be declared
So to be a green dot community, we've got to target 3 groups within the community. So those 3 groups would have to be identified, and it has to be a certain percentage that would be committed to doing it. So those groups have not been identified, and we really won't identify those groups until we get our community coalition up and going, which I'm hoping to meet with community leaders in January. That will be our first community coalition for Green Dot. and really lean in on our community leaders. What do you want to see this program accomplish that benefits not only just our students, but our community? And then that would be a goal for our Green Dot clubs to kind of work towards. So maybe it's identifying a park. I'm just using this as an example, but maybe it's identifying a space in our community that's kind of run down and kind of tends to be the place that maybe drugs is sold because it's just run down, dilapidated. Like, what could we do to work, all 4 schools work together to do some type of project that would benefit the community and make it a safer space?
Kind of like there's a program, I guess it's still in existence, I think I've seen it, called World Changers, and I don't know if it's affiliated with any religious organization, but it's typically they go into a different community, but one of my sons participated a long time ago in that program. It kind of sounds familiar, except this one is within your own community, not gathering up. So there would be an opportunity some point in the future for people, organizations to get involved with when you try to create the larger coalition.
I know in the past one of the events that would be great for community to support and get involved in is the Green Dot Trot. I have not led that event yet, so I don't know much about it, but I know that it has been a popular event in the past that was sponsored by Green Dot, and would be great to get community invested in. But the community coalition will be key to bringing in all the community leaders and just community members that want to create a safer, healthier community. Bardstown's known as the most beautiful small town in America. We can be the most beautiful, the most healthiest, safest community if we all work together.
Yeah. Are you ready to go out and speak to organizations like the Kiwanis Club, the Rotary Club?
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. I would love to come to meetings, share the mission, share ways that they can get involved, ways that they can support. So, yes, absolutely.
Okay. I know that, as a member of the Kiwanis Club, you talk about Bardstown High School. We have a Key Club organization there that's extraordinary. I mean, I've never seen one that has such outstanding leaders and leadership and everything. And probably some of those young boys and girls, or men and women, are in your organizational meetings over there. So, but certainly encourage anybody listening and watching that if they would like to learn more, get a hold of Misty. How do they find you? Where do they find you?
So I am on Facebook. If they want to reach out to me on Messenger through Facebook, it's Misty Hunt Roller. I'm not afraid to give my cell phone number out. Many probably think I'm crazy, but I want to be reachable to anyone that needs me. That number, I've given it to all the students, 270-465-1916. And then my email address is misty.roller@commonspirit.org. Okay. So I am definitely willing to go speak to any club or organization, promote this is an awesome benefit that our local community hospital supports, and I just really want us to become a Green Dot community. I really want to see that happen.
I know we haven't covered everything. Is there some things that I've
No, this is a little booklet that we use in our training, and I just brought it in just to make sure I really kind of covered all the bases. But we did. We talk about red dots. We talk about green dots, both proactive and reactive green dots. I think it's worth mentioning that if we're constantly reacting to bad behavior, culture's not going to change. And so that's the whole goal, is implementing what's one green dot that you can do every day that's going to promote violence isn't okay around me. And if we can all adopt one green dot to do that, then we're proactive and we're not allowing, I use the example of inappropriate language. If you are around students, let's use students for example. If a student is around an adult that they know inappropriate language is going to get them in trouble, guess what? they usually don't use that language. Well, it's the same concept for violence. If you know that you can't act that way around me, the chances are they're not going to act like that around you. So if we get everyone in the room to give that persona that violence is not okay, it's not going to be tolerated, they don't have room to do the bad behavior. There's no room for it.
Yeah. The positive peer pressure is what I think of, and we see, and some people always say, always gets bad news from the media, and I think we're in that department, the media department, not the bad news department. But we've all had to report on tragedies from what bullying and other things have happened to young boys and girls, kids that should never have happened to. And when I grew up, we had bullies, but we also had usually more people that stood up to them. And I don't know where it changed, but I'm afraid it did over the decades since the time I was growing up and now. But it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start with green dots.
Yes, it's got to start with the green dots. And bullying has changed since I was in high school. Bullying probably when I was in high school and maybe when you were in high school is what you traditionally think of bullying. But right there, this cell phone, that's the bullying now. That's how it's mostly used. When I was in school, you went to school, if you had a bad day at school, you come home the next day, chances are it was better. Everything died out. It's not like that anymore. That little device that almost all of our teenagers have, it just makes things grow and escalate, and it's a red dot in itself if it's not used appropriately. Yeah. So.
And yesterday, whatever time it was, Bardstown schools were letting out, and I was in the Templin area, and every one of the kids, I'm not saying this is bad, because all my grandkids have them, but every one of the kids that were walking home or walking somewhere had a phone in their hand, and you only hope that it's all good, that they're checking in with family or guardians. I'm walking to home, or I'm walking to George's house or something like that. But you're right, that device creates a heck of a lot of problems in our world.
Well, you just said something that triggered me, that I definitely think that as a community, if you want to implement one green dot that is realistic for anyone to do, that's check in. That is a green dot. Checking in on somebody. If you see something happen to someone, if you can't stop what happened, check in on them. Say, hey, I saw that happen. I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do for you? That's the one thing that all of us in this community, students, adults, everyone, check in on people. It makes all the difference.
Because they've got a phone, and if they're not getting a good green check-in, they might have received the bad, the bullying.
And it doesn't even have to be somebody you know. If you're in Walmart or Kroger and you just saw something happen, it's not hard to just walk up to them and say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Are you okay? Yeah. And turn around and walk away. Mm-hmm. At least that person knows that someone cares. Yeah. And lots of times that makes all the difference in someone's life, is just to know someone cares.
Because you don't know, as they always say, you don't know what a person's gone through.
That's right.
Whether it be a kid or an adult, but we're talking here mainly right now about our children. You don't know what they've gone through. And the scary part, as you said, is before this phone thing happened, you went home and kind of reset maybe, and went out and played with your good friends, and then the next day it was kind of over. Tragically, this stuff goes on. These people that are bullying, cyberbullying, I guess has been a term I've heard before, goes on constantly.
Or even just sharing, if somebody's in a physical fight, what's the first thing students do? They record it. Yeah. And they share it. Yeah. We talk about that. That's a red dot. Yeah. Why are you promoting that? Why are we wanting to promote that bad behavior? Yeah. That's so just talking about things that are real for them has been really good.
Flaget Memorial Hospital has the Violence Prevention Program Manager, the Green Dot Program, and it is Misty Roller who's with us here today on WBRT Radio. Again, how do they get a hold of you? And right now, where we are in the status, the school status, and then what's ahead next year.
Okay, so they can email me at misty.roller@commonspirit.org. If they would like me to come and speak to them, their organization, nonprofit organization, business, I'm willing to go anywhere and talk about this. What's to come next is we are going to be doing some community events.
Okay.
I'm excited to get started with our Bardstown kiddos. They want to plan a community-wide event, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
Yep.
So I just invite everybody to come out when they see anything Green Dot, come out, support it, be a part of it.
There you go. Missy, thank you very much for coming by today. And by the way, in the press release, talks about all the things she's involved in. And now I find she's also on the parade committee.
Yes.
So, which is very, very thankful that you have offered your services for that also.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
You are welcome. It is WBRT Radio, and stay tuned. I believe we have Tony Walker coming up in just a little bit.